Hi, it's Vicky here from Off the Hook for You, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a super quick beanie hat. I teach this as one of my workshops. It's my week 2 beginner course. Yeah, we make a hat week 2. It's great because it teaches you how to make a circle, teaches you how to increase, and it teaches you the half double crochet stitch. So I'm going to crack on and we will make a hat in about half an hour, 40 minutes. Here we go. So the hat is made using this lovely yarn here. This is some Signet Seriously Chunky, and the reason this beanie hat is so quick to make is because with super chunky yarn we use a super chunky hook. So if you look at the ball band on the back of this yarn, it tells you to use between a 10 and a 12. We're going to use a 10 for this hat. Now, if you look at this one here that I've got, you can see that it's 3 different colours. The beauty with these hats is that for an average lady's head size is that you will use 3 balls of wool. If you buy 4 balls of wool, you can make 4 hats. 4 balls of wool, 3 hats. So that is why we do this hat. This being a hat, we start at the top on the crown here, and then we work down. We increase for 4 rows. And then we work straight down, just 1 stitch in each stitch. So the thing with this one to remember is that we only need to count for the first few rows. After that, you don't need to count at all. So I'm going to crack on and get myself ready, and we'll make a beanie hat. Right, so I'm going to make a magic ring. So with your yarn over to your left hand, yarn over to my left, and I've got my yarn in my right hand, my tail is in my right hand. I'm using a 10mm hook for this because it's a super bulky yarn, and if you actually look on the ball band it will tell you what size hook to use. This one here says a 10 or a 12. I'm using a 10. If you find that you crochet really tightly, please go up to a 12. If you find you crochet really loosely, go to a 9 or an 8. Either is fine, but this will make an adult size hat. So with your yarn over to your left, in your tail, in your right hand, you're going to point your finger. And what you're going to do is you're going to wrap the yarn around your finger 3 times. So we've got 1, 2, 3. You're now going to go under the first 2 loops that are on your finger, grab the yarn, pull back through, and instantly, caught it again, instantly we're going to chain 2. Now our yarn's totally in the wrong place. Normally we'd expect it to be over here, but actually it's under here. So we're going to pull back, chain 1, and we're going to come under again, chain 2. At this point you need to point your finger. What you're going to do is point your finger and make sure your tail, the one with the end, is over to your left and your working yarn side is over to your right. If you wiggle your finger out now, you'll see we've now got 2 loops that actually we're going to work all our stitches into these 2 loops. With the tail, we're going to move that in front, and then with our working yarn, we're going to move that behind. Now, holding your yarn as you normally would do, I go under my finger, round and over the top, but however you would normally hold your yarn is fine. We're now going to do 7 half double crochet, this is US terms, into the 2 rings. So if you look, I'm holding it with my finger slightly here. So with half double crochet, we're going to go under, we're going to go through the circles front to back, grab the yarn, so we're just coming through and we're twisting, so we've caught the yarn, and we're going to pull back through. You've now got 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull back through all 3 loops on the hook. That gives you 1 US half double crochet. So we'll do another one. I'll do it slowly again. So under, through, grab, 3 loops on your hook, under, pull through. We need a few more. So under, through, grab, 3 loops, under, pull through all 3. Let me do some more. I will try and go quite slowly because hopefully you're keeping up with me as we make this. 3 loops, all right, at this point I'm actually going to count to see how many stitches I've done. What I'm going to do is, using a yarn needle, I'm just actually going to count backwards with you. So this is stitch number 1, looking at the 2 V's on the top of the stitch. and I'm going underneath just the 2 V's, not the 3rd loop there. It's just the 2 V's there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the chain 2. So I need another couple of stitches. So under, through, grab. Let's do one more. That should give us 7 half double crochets and a chain 2, which counts as your first stitch. So chain 2, this one here. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gives me 8 stitches in total because the chain 2 counts as number 1. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At this point we can cinch our magic ring close. So making sure your stitches are nice and flat, so you can flatten them out. Just pull your tail, and if you look, the hole in the centre will close. What you're now going to do is slip stitch to join to the top of your chain 2. So this is my chain 2 here, and I'm going to slip stitch, making sure I go underneath 2 loops. So slip stitch, I've just gone through. I'm going to grab the yarn and pull straight back through, one over the top of the other. At this point, that is round 1 of the hat finished. I'm going to chain 2 again to get to the height of the US half double crochet. This is the only stitch we do in these hats, is a half double crochet. So once you've mastered it, which you will do by the end of probably round 2, you'll be fine. So we're going to do another half double crochet in the base of the chain. So just where we've slip stitched to join, you can see there's a tiny little hole here, and that's where we're going to go with our hook. So we're going to yarn over, through, grab, pull back through. We've got the 3 loops on the hook again, yarn over, pull through 2. Right, so we've just done a chain 2 and we've done 1 half double crochet in the base of the chain. Now in order to make this circle bigger, we have to increase the number of stitches that we've got. So we had 8 in round 1, we need to end up with 16 at the end of round 2. So all we have to do is do 2 half double crochets in each stitch as you go around. So we've done 2 in there, we're going to do now 2 in this one here. So half double crochet, 1, 2, 2 in the next one, 1, some more yarn, 2, so 2 in each stitch, and we will end up with 16 stitches, which is 1 chain 2 and 15 half double crochet. Right, let's count, check we've got the right number. So chain 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, because we've got a chain 2. So there we go, we're going to slip stitch to join to the top of the chain 2. So straight in, catch 2 loops. If you only catch 1 loop, it pulls and gives you a really horrible hole. So if you go underneath 2 loops here, you'll find you won't get a hole. So yarn over, pull back through, pull back through. There we go. Next row, chain 2 to get to the height of the half double crochet again, and 1 half double crochet in the base of the chain. Now when we increase this time, if we did 2 in each stitch all the way round, it actually gets too big too quickly and you end up getting a really wobbly effect. So the way that we combat this is we do 2 in one stitch, 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 in the next one, 1 in the next one. So that's all we need to remember is we've just done 2, so we've got a chain 2, 1 in the base of the chain. So we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So just count all the way around, 2, 1, 2, 1. And we'll end up with 24 stitches at the end. So there's a 2, this is a 1. 2, 1, 2, 1. And when you're back round to the end, you should finish on the 1, not the 2. That's one way you can check to see whether or not you've done it right. So here we go with our circle, a chain 2, which counts as the first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So a background with 24 stitches. The way that you can count your stitches is you can either go under the 2 loops to count as 1. So there's your chain 2 here. And then under the 2 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can count what I say are the long bits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, back round to the beginning. We're going to slip stitch to join. And we're going to chain 2 to get to the height of the half double crochet. 1 half double crochet in the base of the chain. And now we need to increase again, but instead of doing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, we need to make sure we're not increasing too quickly, otherwise it goes wavy again. So we've done 2 stitches here. We're now going to do 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. So we're now on a 1. The other thing to bear in mind, which I think I showed you at the beginning, but I haven't gone through it recently, is that we're only going under the 2 loops. If you look at the way that the stitch is formed, these are the 2 V's on the top, the V on the top, and we're only going under 2 loops. Do not try and go underneath that 3rd one. It gives you a different texture. So we're only going under the 2. So again, there's a 2. We don't want to go underneath the 3rd one that's there. So just make sure you only catch the 2 loops when you're going under the stitch. So 2, 1, 1. 2, so 1, 2, followed by 2 1s. And at the end of this round, we'll end up with 32 stitches. 1, 2. This is the only point, this is the last round we need to count on. So if you're doing this on your own, just bear in mind you don't need to count from this point onwards. So 2, 1, 1. Right, nearly round. There should be a 2, and remember we're going to finish on the last of the 1 1. 2, 1, 1. And this will give us 32 stitches. If I lay it down flat now, we have a nice big circle. All right, and then to check you're on about the right size for a lady's hat or a teenager's hat, at the end of round 4, we're measuring about 16 centimetres, just under 16 centimetres in diameter, just so you can be aware about what size you should be looking for. So we're on round 4, we're going to slip stitch to join, and we don't need to worry about counting anymore, but I'm just going to have a look at this hat, and I'm going to see when I changed colour. So round 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where we're up to on the hat. So I'm going to do another 2 rows of pink before I then change colour to cream. So slip stitch to join, again making sure you've caught 2 loops. Chain 2 up to get to the height of the stitch, and this is where we're slightly different because we're not increasing anymore. We're just doing 1 stitch in each one stitch in each stitch in order to get the hat to curve downwards. Now we're not getting any bigger, so if you look at this yellow hat, you zoom out again, you can see it starts to get bigger up until a point, and then actually it just kind of goes down. So that's what we're on now. We're on this row here on the pink, and it will start to curve down. So even though it looks tiny, I promise you it will fit your head. So we're not going to worry about doing anything in the base of the chain at this point. All we're doing is 1 stitch in each stitch all the way around till we get back to the beginning. Now, because you're not counting, a tip here is do your first half double crochet, and then if you put a stitch marker in your stitch, you can see when you've got back round to the beginning. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to see you after I've done 2 rows of 1 half double crochet in each. So just as I'm finishing that row, I'll be back and show you how to change colour. So I'm just coming back round on the end of my 2nd row of doing 1 half double crochet. So actually this is my last stitch here that I'm about to do. So yarn over as normal, through the stitch, yarn over, pull back through. You've now got the 3 loops on your hook. So in order to change colour, so you can't actually see, I'll show you on this one. So I've changed colour here, so it's very not noticeable where you've changed colour. I'm going to show you how to do that. So with the cream yarn, the cream yarn. Now I do this slightly differently to a lot of people. I always make a slip knot. I just think it seems a nicer way to join your yarn. You can just yarn over and pull through. I just worry about the end. So I'm just going to make a slip knot. Make sure you leave enough of a tail that you can sew it in. So I've got the 3 loops on my hook as I've done my stitch. I'm now going to yarn over with my new colour. I'm going to pull back through. That now gives me the top of the stitch in the new colour, and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3, which is here. I'm now going to chain 2 up, same as I would do, and working in the next stitch along under the 2 loops, I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to start doing each one of my stitches. Now the bonus with when we've changed colour is that you don't need to worry about your stitch marker because it's completely obvious where you've changed colour. So I'm going to do a few more stitches. There we go, just till about there. And then I'm going to cut the end off so I've got enough of an end to sew in at the end. So here's my pink. I'm actually going to cut it about here just to give me enough of an end to sew them in. I'm going to carry on round. If you look at this, we'll go back to my demonstration hat. I've got 3 rows of creams. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, before I change colour again. So I'll carry on round. Remember, it's just chain 2 for the height of the half double crochet, 1 half double crochet in each stitch, and then make sure you slip stitch to join before carrying on again. So I'll come back to you just as we're about to finish this one, and I'm going to change on to my final colour. Right, so I'm almost back round. I've actually stopped a bit shorter than I was going to. I was going to do 3 rounds of cream, but to be honest, I've just run out of yarn. So I've just measured it, and you need about 16 foot of yarn, between 16 and 17 foot of yarn in order to do a round on this hat. And I've only got about 15, so I've actually stopped about 3 stitches short. So what I'm going to do is change colour after 2, and I'll just do 4 rows. Bring this one in. I'll do 4 rows of the next colour. It's the beauty of these hats, you can change them as you want to. So I've got my 3 stitch. I've done my beginning of the stitch. So if I take this out so I can show you where I'm up to. So yarn over, through the stitch, grab, and then I'm going to do the next yarn over in my new colour. So make a slip knot. It's just what I do. You don't have to. You can just yarn over directly. New colour, we're going dark grey, through the 3 loops, slip stitch to join on the top of the chain 2, chain 2 up to get to the height of the half double crochet, and then 1 stitch in each stitch all the way around. So 1 half double crochet in each stitch all the way around until we've done 4 rows. Remember to slip stitch to join at the end of your row. I'll do a few more here. But if you look, my hat now, so this is the inside of the hat with all the ends on it. And if you look, the texture's not very nice. The actual working side of the hat is this side. So when we come to sew everything in, we'll sew them all in on the inside. And if you look, it's a really nice stitch pattern rather than it's a bit liney on the inside. So I'm going to turn it back the other way. And I'm going to carry on going, and I will see you back at the very end when I've done 4 more rows of the grey. Right, so I've just got the last stitch to do on round 4, which I'm doing now. I'm going to slip stitch to join to the top of my chain 2. At this point, I'd suggest trying it on your head just to make sure that it actually fits, because lots of people's heads are slightly different sizes. I know this will fit because I've made quite a lot of them. I'm going to snip off the end, post it through the loop, and pull it tight. So here I have my hat, the inside of my hat. As I said before, this is the inside of the hat that you currently see with the spirally bit going around. And then this is the proper side of the hat inside. So we need to sew in our ends. And this is when these little needles are an absolute brilliant thing to buy. A normal yarn needle, let's see if I've got one here. Here, you can't thread this super bulky yarn. It just doesn't, it's really not very easy to get the yarn through. So these ones here with this little plastic loop are absolutely brilliant. So if you put your yarn thick over the end, pull it through, and there you have it. You can thread the needle nice and quickly. And you need to fasten off and sew in your ends. So what I will do in this one is I'm going to come up the stitch here. What we're doing is weaving it in so it won't come undone. But we don't want to see this on the other side. So we're going to come down a little bit further over. So if you look, I've come out with this one. I'm actually going to come down a bit further this way. And come up. This one here. And I'm going to come down again. And I do each end 4 times. So that one there I can now cut off. That one's done. For these two, to give it that extra little bit of security, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tie them in a normal knot first before I sew the ends in. So I've done those 2 there. And then the blue one's going to be sewn into the blue side and the cream one's going to be sewn into the cream side, so you can't see them. So I'm going to come down here into this stitch. Pull it a tiny bit, back up. And I'm going to come back down that one as well, just to here. There we go. Cut that one off. Same with the cream. So up here. And what you're trying to do is not add too much bulk in one place. So you can see I might actually change my mind and go in a different stitch just because I don't want it to be too thick in a place. Up that one and down again. There we go, we can cut that one off. Same with these, tie them in a knot first. Cream one in the cream, mustard in the mustard. Make that a little bit shorter. pull it through, and then because it's getting a bit chunky there, I'm going to come down this one, the next stitch over. Go, cut that one off. 2 more to go. Go, and then the one at the top. There. Cut that one off, turn it inside out, and there we have a beanie hat in, I think, probably about 28 minutes. You can add a pom-pom. I'll do that bit now as well and show you one with a pom-pom. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'll see you again with another tutorial soon. Thanks, bye. Hi, so if you just watched my video on how to make a beanie hat, which we did here, this video here is now going to show you how to make the pom-pom that goes on the top, and a couple of little tricks which are really handy. So this one's hat with the pom-pom, super quick beanie if you fancy watching this, 30 minutes to make a hat. Now, these are your friend, these are pom-pom makers, they are absolutely brilliant. Tips here. You need to have a cotton-based yarn to tie around the middle. So I'm going to use this one. This is what I've got in a drawer. The reason we do a cotton-based yarn is because if you try and do an acrylic-based yarn, which I'll show you here with this little white one, if you try and tie it really tight with it, as soon as you start to pull it, it breaks. And that's really frustrating when you're doing a pom-pom. So if you try and break a cotton yarn, it is actually pretty hard to break a cotton yarn. So that's why we've got a length to tie round. Trip number 2, these little things, absolutely brilliant. You open them up like a side, and then that side there does the same thing. I'm going to open them to here. Tip number 3, I think I'm on now. If you use one piece of yarn and you're winding round, it's going to take you a very long time in order to make this pom-pom, just because you have to fill this area with yarn by winding it round and round and round. So my tip here is I'm going to use 3 different colours to get 3 different colour pom-pom, but you can use 3 the same colours. So if I was making this one, for example, I'd probably wind 3 more balls. From one ball of yarn, I'd wind 3 or 4 balls in order to make the pom-pom. So I've got 3 bits of yarn here. I'm going to go all together around the middle, and I'm just going to wind to fill the area with yarn. So just keep going. Oh, lost one then. All we're trying to do is get it so we get a bit of resistance on the white bit. So if I push this in now, that's still too loose. That's going to be a rubbish pom-pom. So we're going to keep going. That's starting to get some resistance, but again, it's not going to be a full pom-pom yet. I reckon about there. If you want a fuller pom-pom, keep going till it really bites to go in. Keep that one closed, cut them off. At this point, you can use the other side, open that one, 3 bits of yarn together again, and then keep winding till you fill the other side up. you go. The grey one's just about to run out, but I think I'm almost there. If not, I'll just carry on with the other two. There you go, a little bit more. There we go. Cut that one off. Move those two out the way. So at this point, you've got what looks like this. Now, what I would say is this is under tension now, where it's quite a lot of yarn in it. So make sure you hold on to the white bits around the middle. And then your pom-pom maker has actually got a little groove up the middle, and you're going to use your scissors to cut up the middle. There you go. And then the same on the other side. If you just twizzle it round, you can get to the other side. There we go. We've cut everything, push them together. Now with your cotton yarn, through the middle, there's a little gouge. We're going to go put the cotton yarn through the middle there, flip it over, and then tie a knot. Nice and tight. There we go. You can give it a bit of a trim here on the maker, on the pom-pom maker if you want to. I tend to take it off the pom-pom maker, so open them up, push them away, push this set away, and then you open it like an accordion. So grab hold of the white bits and pull it apart. One pom-pom. And then you can give it a trim to make it a nice colour. Now to sew it onto a hat, I actually use these two ends here. So I'll show you how to sew it onto the hat now as well. So this is the hat we've just made. Again, I've got white pom-pom this time. I've got the cotton bit that I've used to tie it together. So thread the needle, and in the top of the hat, if you look at the very top, this is where your magic ring went, this bit here. So I'm actually going to sew through a stitch because it just gets it a bit more secure. So I'm going to go through the stitch, so not in the hole here. I'm going to go through the middle of the yarn and pull it through. I've still got the end in there. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side, but the other side of the circle. So I've done one on this side, and I'm going to go through the other side of the circle with my needle and pull it through. And then if we look on the middle of the hat, we've got our two long ends. All I do now is just tie it with a knot, a normal knot, as tight as you can though, because if not it wobbles. So two knots there. Cut these ends off. I tend to leave them a little bit in case I need to adjust it, but that's fine. See if I can zoom out a bit. Ooh. So there we go. One pom-pom hat in about 45 minutes, including making the beanie from scratch and making a pom-pom. And there you have it. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be back with more tutorials soon. Thanks. Bye.